Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? Big mahalo for tuning in. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. And today we have a very special guest on the line who is well known around the world and an export of Hawaii, possibly one of our biggest musical exports these days. He has a new record with his friends called the Best of Kokua Festival. He also has a string of local dates. He's coming through and doing a bunch of gigs starting on April 19th on Kauai at KCC at the Performing Arts Center, April 21st and 22nd on Oahu here in Honolulu at the Hawaii Theater, April 25th and 26th on Maui at the Castle Theater, April 28th and 29th on the Big Island at the Kahilu Theater. And all of these dates are accompanied by this new 13-song record, which features special guests who have been part of his Kokua Festival over the course of all these different years. People from Ziggy Marley and Damian Marley to Dave Matthews and Eddie Vedder, Jackson Brown, Willie Nelson, the list goes on, plus local heroes like John Cruz and Paula Fuga, who are going to be accompanying him on this acoustic evening tour that he's got coming up. It's a huge thrill to welcome back to the air for another conversation our buddy from the North Shore, Jack Johnson. Aloha, brother Jack.
Dave, how you been?
What's up, brother?
Not too much.
And big aloha and mahalo for taking some time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good. I'm going to just push this phone against my ear a little better.
Yeah, because it sounds like my connection, I got a gazillion layers of hiss on it, but we'll make it work. So, all this exciting stuff, the record, Best of Kokua Festival, the tour, what are you most excited about in your life right now?
Oh, in my life right now, pretty good sandbar at Pupukea.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, with all this stuff coming up, the tour is going to be really fun, actually, to get to play some theaters on the outer islands and visit friends and family and take our family with us and do a little sightseeing and stuff, and it's going to be good fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was wondering if you were up there catching some waves. I know we've had some big ones recently. You've been out getting some of the swells.
Yeah, it's been a fun winter. You know, it's a lot of north swells here and there, which I like. A lot of Pupukea, good fun.
That's cool. When I look at the record, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like all the big artists who have done Kokua over the years are represented. Is there anybody that didn't make it onto this thing?
You know, Henry Kapono, I would have liked to have had him on there, and that one didn't work out. And then the first year we had Willie Kay and Amy Hanaili Igilium and Spearhead, and I guess I just want to bring all their names up just to say thanks, because the first year we didn't record it. It switched venues last minute, and I'm not even sure we had the capability of recording back then. It was 2004. And then along the way we just were able to record most of the shows, so we were able to get most everybody on there, but we really appreciate all the different artists who've come out and participated in it. Yeah,
I was wondering how far you answered a bunch of questions there, how far back it goes. So you started recording after the first one and basically caught all the sets from then on?
Yeah.
I'm bummed my favorite tune of yours not on the album, brother Jack.
Which one is that?
The 3 R's.
Oh, that's going to be a bonus track like you can get, I think, through the Kokua Hawaii Foundation if you order it off their website or something like that.
Oh, we dig it. That's the jam right there. What made you think...
And we have a fun one with Dave Matthews that we did.
What made you think... Oh, so the version will be with Dave, you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. I think I even remember seeing that. I can't remember. You've seen so many of those things. It kind of gets like a blur. It's kind of like the Dead after a while.
Yeah, it's fun. I put him on the spot on that one. I make him do the multiples of 3 up to 36 and backwards again. Pretty good.
I was going to ask you about that tune. You know, the thing about that song, it has such a spirit of, remember, because we're about the same age, like Saturday morning in the 70s when cartoons would be interspersed with those little public service messages that were musical kind of...
Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, and it, like, when you wrote that tune, was that what you were thinking of? Because to me, it fits into that so well.
Yeah, well, it was based off of one of the songs. Like, if you ever look at the credits and stuff, the song is written by me and somebody else. I forget the guy's name, but because I took the 3 is the magic number from the old Schoolhouse Rock, so your memory serves you well.
All right, well, and
then I just went off of that and made the 3 R's. So I kind of wrote in the reduce, reuse, recycle part and all that. But those are great. I love those. Yeah, my kids listen to those all the time.
Those are super cool. They're inspirational, and they have a timeless quality, which is why I guess it's nice that your effort has that feeling too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, they got an amazing band on those old schoolhouse rock playing too.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. It was very funky, the 70s.
Yeah, real funky stuff.
Very analog sounding. When you think of all the kukuas, is there a favorite one that you've done, Jack? Because they've been at a few different places, sometimes because of weather and other factors. But is there one that resonates, or are they all sort of just a blur?
Well, kind of a blur. I mean, I actually remember them all pretty well, and I just have really fond memories of all of them. I mean, the first one, when I think back to that one was pretty stressful because we were all set up and ready to go at Kulilo Ranch, and it poured rain all night, and we had to make the call to switch it, and we had to figure out if it's even doable and everything. So that was really my wife and I and our whole crew was our first go at trying to produce a show, really. Usually you show up somewhere and you have a promoter who their whole job is have everything set up for you and everything, and you show up and play. But to take it all on and become the host and become the promoter basically, and to put the show on yourself, all of a sudden it becomes much more stressful, and especially when you get all the rain and everything. So that one was pretty memorable because of that, and all the rest have been great. Just all the stuff backstage, getting to hang out with the different musicians, and they've all been so great. Getting to hang out with, say, Taj Mahal. He's like a encyclopedia with music. It's just like getting to talk to that guy and get to hear these stories about being in the studio with different musicians. And it's amazing. And Willie Nelson, I mean, what could be better than hanging with Willie?
Yeah, no doubt, dude. It's kind of like you're the Bill Graham. You get to have your Bill Graham moment when
yeah, there you go.
when you do those shows. Other than that time you just sort of mentioned without saying it, the Blaisdell thing. Have you done the arena other than that one time?
No, well, actually, I just sat in with Steve Miller.
I know that, right?
Like a month ago.
Right.
And then I've seen the Cirque du Soleil there a couple times. I've seen a lot of shows there. I guess that's the first thing that popped in my head. I got to see, I saw Devo at Blaisdell way back when I was a kid.
Is that your first concert there?
That was my first concert ever, was Devo.
Wow.
And then my first show at the Shell was Ziggy Marley, actually, in the Melody Makers back in, I don't know, it must have been like 8th grade or something, 9th grade.
Yeah, that would be about when I remember him spinning through back in the Philly area where I was a kid. When you did that rescheduling because of the weather, that was at the arena, right? Is that where you guys
Yeah, Blaisdell is where we ended up doing it.
And is that the only time then that you guys have...
Yeah, it's the only time I played the Blaisdell.
Wow, that's cool. That's a great venue. I saw that. Nice. I was going to say, nice surprise with the Steve Miller thing. That was totally caught me off guard. So early in the set, too. It was like, what?
Yeah, well, he ended up doing 2 versions of the Joker that night. And we were doing the Joker on tour this last summer. We started playing a lot because we had a friend that was playing slide with us on tour, and somehow we just messed around with one night, and then we started doing it a lot of the nights. And then he got word we were doing it, and we were doing the same festival, and he invited me to come play it with him. And it was fun. It was great. And then he came to Hawaii and shot us a call. And he did two versions. He wanted to do it with the ukulele, and so we did that one kind of early in the night. And then I think he played it again later in the night, more like the straightforward version.
It was tasty. It was good stuff. And it fits you. That's a tune that, not that there aren't, there's probably a lot of songs in his catalog that you could hop in and it would sound really appropriate, but that one, just of all tunes, I don't know, it just seemed to fit.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a good one.
On the tour, just one note, I feel for my brothers in Hilo. What do they have to do? They have to convoy over to the Kahilu Theater, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Somebody told me that it's like midway, but it's not the truth, huh?
I don't know, man. That's a long haul, my bro.
Yeah, well, we're doing 2 nights there, and it's a lot easier just to set up once and then just leave it set up. It's so I guess we're being selfish. We're making them drive so that we can just go surf and stuff. Since
I broadcast statewide, I got to think about my brothers and sisters in Hilo, so I'm sure
sorry for the long drive. Well, I guess you're listening to me too.
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. They're hearing you. You can tell them yourself, but that's why I brought it up. I wanted them to feel included. I know you love them, Jack. Not putting you on the spot, brother. People will make it. You'll get to the Palace Theater one of these days.
That's right.
When I think about a couple other questions on a different sort of note, how has because you're really, I've lived here for 10 years. You grew up here, so you have a lot more understanding of this, but I've been here since 2002. And you grew up here. How has it influenced the kind of adult that you have that you've turned out to be. You're a very relaxed, mellow cat. Are there any observations you have as you travel around the world when you come back here each time about how Hawaii is a part of you?
Yeah, well, I think just the pace of things, like growing up, and I've always lived pretty near the ocean, and so to hear a wave hitting the shore every 12 seconds or so. And then just a lot of that. My bass player, he's from New York, and him and I talk about this a lot, about how people's environments shape them, and, just hearing a lot of natural sounds. I guess I was pulled towards that kind of music. I mean, Taj Mahal, to bring him back up, is somebody who, like, hearing his type of music, and it was so acoustic and organic. I just loved it from the very beginning. And my friend Merlo, that plays bass in the band, he does a lot of programming and electronic stuff, and he's talked about how he lived in a place right above the subway and would hear, like, the rhythm of the trains and different things that were... So I don't know, I'm interested in that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool, and those, But then also just being at a place where there's so many different cultures all together, it's... I think it's taught me to be sensitive to different people's ways of believing. I think it's a beautiful place to grow up, to be able to understand that, there's not one way or the highway kind of a vibe. Instead, there's a lot of different ways of believing in different things and different ways of growing up. And so that's been helpful to travel and having a background and already being aware of that, and being in schools where there's kids of all different ethnicities, and friends of all different ethnicities growing up, and then being able to travel and being able to kind of be sensitive to those kind of things when you're traveling. It's been really helpful, I think, to grow up in Hawaii.
Good observations for sure. There's a lot about living on an island. It's hard to have a beef when you're on an island. People sort of have to compromise. I wonder how much that also just plays into that spirit of getting along.
Yeah, that's for sure.
With each other. You're a North Shore cat, so it would be wrong not to just sort of mention real quickly the wind farms up there. How do they fit into the 3 R's and keeping the country? Yeah, well, I mean, I like getting the energy from the wind. It's nice. It's also a nice indicator. If I'm going to go surf on the east side, I can tell if it's onshore or offshore from further away when I'm coming around the corner there. And I grew up mountain biking and hiking back there quite a bit and everything, and there's been different times where there used to be one about that same size, but there was only one that stood out there, and then there was another time there was smaller ones back there, and I'm pretty used to having windmills in that area off and on ever since I was a kid. But these ones seem to be on more of the time, and from what I've heard, windmills have gotten more efficient over time. The amount of time they can actually be running, and these ones spin around different directions and all that. So I don't know. I love the idea of seeing where energy is coming from and not being invisible and dirty. I think it's important that people realize where their energy is coming from. I have solar panels on my roof, and I love the aesthetic of solar panels, not just how they work, but actually there's something about seeing them now for me. Whenever I'm driving into town, I'll see more houses with them on there. I really appreciate seeing where the energy is coming from so that we can be aware of it instead of it just coming from somewhere else and being oblivious to what's happening to get it. Also on that note, of land in Hawaii and how it's being used, I think it's really important for people right now in Hawaii to educate themselves on what's happening with the farmlands in Hawaii, and making sure that we're going to be having enough in the future to try to provide more food for Hawaii. In our foundation, one of the programs we have is called Aina in Schools, and it's a farm-to-school program, and we try to work with the kids on making them realize where their food comes from, getting them to be aware of the fact their food doesn't just come from a grocery store. And so hopefully they'll start to ask the bigger question of why does so much of our food come from places other than Hawaii, and how can we start getting more of our food grown here? And, want to try to get more locally grown food into the school cafeterias. So definitely a concern of mine is all the agricultural land in Hawaii and what's happening to it. And I think it's just, while we're on air, I want to mention that everybody should make sure to become informed on what's happening to the agricultural land in Hawaii. And it's a difficult situation, too, on the North Shore, right, between keeping it country and developing it into farmland, because farmland itself is a sort of development, right? It requires water. It requires some infrastructure.
Yeah, but I think it's a good way to use the land. Obviously, food, nothing more important than food, so locally grown food is really important.
Do you grow food there?
What's that?
Are you growing food yourself?
Oh, yeah, I grow some taro, kalo, and we got some spinach, and we got some eggplant, all kinds of different stuff, some kale, Swiss chard.
When you come
we try to do at least a few meals. At least like one meal a week where we try to grow everything in our yard.
Oh, wow, and the whole meal is stuff that you produce. Yeah,
we go starving those nights. No, I'm just kidding. It's fun. We definitely eat lighter on those nights, but it's fun to do. Good way to teach the kids about it too.
You had fun today, right? This was okay.
Yeah, that was great, man. Thank you.
Okay, big hug. I'll talk to you soon. Aloha, bro.
Take care, Dave.